friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather. If you don't know, I am an alumni of the Disney College Program, spring 2017 and fall of 2018. I actually just got home on January 4th. Today is the 18th, so it's been about 2 weeks since I've been home. 2 weeks actually. And I just wanted to talk about my experience with my past program in the fall. I couldn't really talk about it during the program, so I'm finally getting the chance to talk about it now. I've wanted to talk about it for a very long time. So if you didn't know, I got accepted for a front desk role in the fall program. I was there from August 6th to January 3rd. I worked at a value resort, and I just kind of want to tell you my experience with it. I struggled a lot with this program, definitely more than my first program. In my opinion, the front desk role is a little bit more difficult mentally. It's not really hard physically because you just stay in the same spot like your whole shift. You don't really have to move and run around anywhere. You just get to stay in the same spot, which I guess could be physically demanding if you like have bad legs or something, but it wasn't really physically hard for me. But mentally it was pretty tough. So I'll explain why a little bit later. But I'm just going to give you an overview of what I did during my program. So I moved in on the 6th of August, Patterson Court. I lived with 4 other girls, and I was in a room with a bunk, but I had the bed. And then after moving, I had casting that same day. I had my housing meeting, I think 2 days after, and then the following Friday, I had my traditions. And then after traditions, I think the Monday, I started my front desk training at Disney University. It was 3 days straight. It was called Destination Cashier. And it was I believe it was from 8 to 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And in that training, we basically just did all of the front desk functions. I was very, very, very overwhelmed during the whole training. I just thought to myself, how am I going to remember to do all of this? I just didn't think I'd remember it. I was so stressed. I wanted a rule change and everything. But I was like, I'll just stick with it. So I did. My on-the-job training started, and my trainer, I love her. You know who you are if you're watching. If it wasn't for her, I would have probably left. And I just want to say my opinions are mine. They don't represent the Walt Disney Company or anybody. They are my opinions only. And also, before I say anything else, I just want to say I loved my team at my location, my leadership, all my coworkers. Everybody was so kind to me, so nice, and so helpful when I was in trouble. So thank you to them for helping me throughout my program. But anyways, I had 5 days of on-the-job training. Front desk, you're considered a cashier. I don't understand that, but I guess it makes sense because we did have like a drawer of some money. But anyways, we had 5 days of that. The first day, it's basically your trainer doing it, and you just watch what she's doing. And then as the days go on, you have to do it. And she just kind of backs up and watches you and observes you. And I was just overwhelmed. I was like, how am I going to remember doing all this? It was just so much, you guys. I worked for a different hotel here at home, and it was just so simple compared to Disney. Because for Disney, they would come up to you, check in, you'd have to get their name, verify everything, like their number of stays, the number of people in their party, you had to get their address on file. You had to make sure everybody's name was correct. If anything was wrong, we had to rebook sometimes, which was a really long process. But once you get all of that, if they have a balance due, they have to pay that, put a card on file, then you check them in. You got to make sure their magic bands work. You got to explain everything, like how to get to the room, the amenities of the resort, the food court, the merchandise store where the buses are. There's just so much to learn and remember. And I never thought I was going to remember it all, but I did. So after training, I was really overwhelmed. The thing with front desk at Disney is, especially at a value resort where there's literally thousands of people staying, you cannot please everybody. And at least in my experience, I dealt with a lot of not magical guests, if you know what I mean. A lot of unhappy people, a lot of people screaming, yelling, throwing tantrums. Like, it was bad. Probably midway through my program, like end of October, mid-November, I was just so mentally done. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm sick of just getting screamed at all the time. Because the college program is really, like, focused towards your work, because 5 days a week you're at your location working. Like, the days you do get off at the parks are magical and fun, but if you think about it, most of the program you're working, and if you don't like where you're working, then it really takes a toll on you. My first program, I worked on Main Street in Magic Kingdom on merchandise, and it was so magical. I mean, obviously I dealt with some rude guests there, but not at the capacity of the resort. Like, it was rough. If people had issues at the parks, on the buses, at the resort, anywhere, they would just come to the front desk and express their feelings, which I don't blame them. Who else are they going to go to? But honestly, it was really hard for me to deal with really mean guests, especially in the beginning. But I think towards the end, like December, I was kind of better at it. I don't know. It was just really rough. Not everybody you've dealt with was rude. I met a lot of amazing people from all over the world, like the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, like Brazil, Peru, Argentina, all of those countries I met people from. And another thing is, a lot of your guests don't speak English, which is totally fine. You just have to call a translator. So I kind of wish I spoke other languages. It would have made my life a whole lot easier at the front desk. But I don't know, it was just really hard on me mentally. So yeah, basically the role was a lot of guest recovery. It's not like guest services, and in a sense it is, but like you're doing more than just checking people in and out. It's a lot of guest recovery, a lot of answering questions. I had so many questions that I had no idea what the answers were. So you really can't prepare for that unless you're really a Disney expert. But I don't know, it was just, I don't want to say I hated it, but it definitely wasn't what I thought it would be. Like, I was so excited to get a front desk role there, because my major is in, like, tourism studies, and I just really wanted to stay in the resort aspect. I still love hotels, like, I want to work in hotels, like, get a career in them, but I just wasn't prepared for what I had to do, and I don't know. People told me, like, they warned me, like, it's going to be hard because guests are going to be mad and you're going to have to deal with all these situations. But I still wasn't prepared for that. So basically, my resort had 10 buildings, and some of them were close to the lobby and some of them weren't. I'm going to tell you guys probably the biggest complaints that I had. Because if you weren't checking someone in, you were listening to someone complain, which is fine. Like, you're there to listen to people, you know? So a big thing I had to deal with was luggage. If you take the Disney's Magical Express bus to the resort, they can actually send some of your bags straight to the room, so you don't have to deal with them getting off the plane. And our time frame was about 3 to 5 hours after you land, that you get the bags. And sometimes people wouldn't have them after, like, more than 5 hours, like up to like 8 hours. They still didn't have their stuff. So I understand why they were mad, but they would just yell at us at the desk. We have nothing to do with the luggage. And the thing is, if there's really something that important to you that you needed, you should have brought it with you on your carry-on. That's just my opinion. But honestly, I understand why they were mad. And the parking fee. Oh, the parking fee. Oh, Disney. I knew once they had that announcement in March, I was going to have to deal with people being mad about the parking fee. So, to park at the resort, it's $13 per night. That's just at value. I think moderate is around $17, and I know deluxe is $24. So I'm glad I didn't have to work at deluxe, because that really would have made people mad. But $13 a night, I guess, I mean, honestly, it's not that expensive, but if you think about it, after all the money you spent on the resort, on the vacation itself, that kind of is a bummer. And literally every time I had to tell people about it, most of them were not understanding about it, and they're like, oh, no one told me about the parking fee, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm sorry, but, like, we have to charge you. So that was an obstacle as well. So like I said, we had 10 buildings, and they were all themed to a certain movie. People would get mad if we can't put them in the movie that they wanted, which it's really not that big of a deal. If you're at the parks all day, why do you care about where your room is? I'm really not trying to sound negative, I'm just ranting. But like I said, requests are not guarantees. If you request this building, it does not mean you'll get it. It's just a request. And that's something that a lot of guests did not understand. And, like, we do try our best to accommodate everybody, but when we have 200 people asking for a first floor room, it's kind of hard to put everybody there, you know what I mean? So guests just really weren't understanding about it. Let me see what else. So another thing about the fall program is that we had the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And during those parties in Magic Kingdom, if you didn't have a ticket to those parties, you had to be kicked out, basically. At around, I think it was 6 p.m., they would kick you out. So a lot of these guests don't know about the parties. They go to the park, Magic Kingdom, and they're basically kicked out. And they come to the desk mad at us because nobody told them there's a party. So they want a refund and all this stuff, and we can't do it. like, it's not our fault you didn't do your research about the parties. So, like, I had a woman one time, she was like, I heard Magic Kingdom's closing at 6 tomorrow. Is that true? I'm like, yeah, you know, because of the Christmas party. And she's like, well, my son wanted to see Happily Ever After, the fireworks show, and that was the only day we were going to go. So what am I supposed to do? And I'm just like, I felt really bad, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, just, you can go a different day, but she had her vacation, like, totally planned every single day. So I don't know what she ended up doing. I do feel bad, but, like, you should have did your research. I hate to say it. Like, you guys probably think I sound awful, but, like, I'm just letting out frustrations that I had every day at work. Because, like, people just complain to you every day, 5 days a week, about the same things. And it's just really frustrating. And you can't, like, rant about it at all, you know? The other thing about my resort was that we didn't have suites. They were all just, like, the basic room with 2 beds. So people would come in and say, like, oh, like, our room's really small. Like, do you have any suites? And we say no, because we don't. And then they'd get mad. Like, it's not our fault. You didn't do research about the room that you bought. So, yeah, basically stuff at the park that happens, they get mad and come to us. Something which happened a lot on the buses, because sometimes the buses were a little behind, so they'd come to the desk. And I'm just like, we don't know anything about transportation. Oh, my favorite was a lady got mad at me because her turkey leg was too salty at Magic Kingdom. So that was fun to deal with. So that's basically most of the complaints that we get. It's over petty stuff too. Like, I have a lot of crazy guest stories. I'm gonna save that for a different video that I can't even fit in this video. Like, my last shift, I had to literally call security because this lady was so angry. But I'll talk about that in a different video. But yeah, it was just really hard for me, this role. I was really sad that it was. I almost self-termed a couple times, but, like, once I start something, I like to finish it. Like, I'm not shaming anybody who left the program because I totally understand why they do. It's really hard, especially in that role. But it's just hard, especially during the holidays. So that's basically all I have to say. I just really wanted to, like, rant about it. Front desk really was not my favorite role there. I don't regret going, though, because it was a huge learning experience for me. I just was really sad that I was pretty much miserable the whole time. It was easier towards the end when people were mad about things because I was just more, like, of a listener, and I really wanted to help people have a good vacation. But when it's just constant complaining and yelling and screaming, it is so draining. And I'm glad it's over. And I'm glad to be home, but that's everything for this video. I have plenty of other college program related videos coming your way, like crazy guest stories, roommate drama, all that kinds of stuff. So that's everything for this video. Thank you for watching. If you did, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!